Lizzo! Oh my lord, you guys remember, okay, I did a video on this one. You might have also heard about the additional stuff that's going on right now. She's being sued by a couple of her former backup dancers for body shaming them, which is hilarious and totally believable, but then also doing some absolutely disgusting things with very phallic shaped fruit and having them dipped in the certain nether regions of very promiscuous women in foreign European lands. It's a very sticky situation. Pun, I'll keep it a buck, 100% intended. So while the actual fallout will play out in the courtroom, well, we have the court of public opinion to chime in on this. So we have Lizzo's current backup dancers showing support to the embattled singer after bombshell lawsuit. Thank you for shattering limitations. Thank you for saying what needs to be said. Lizzo's big girl and big boy, I am not pronouncing it like some fucking common cretin, dancers showed their support for the singer in a statement shared on Thursday, August 17th, after 3 of her former backup dancers sued her for harassment and discrimination. And yeah, my initial take on all this stuff, you gotta prove it, okay? I am likely to believe it because I think that the descriptions of the offenses do seem to fit the bill, but again, the burden of the proof is on the accuser, so got to show up with receipts on that one. I'm not one to just simply take accusations at face value. I keep it 10 toes down, even for somebody who, well, if you need to defend them, definitely need to keep it 10 toes down because, oh my God, if she gets off her leash, it's going to be atrocious and terrible, and it's going to be hard to keep corralled. But also the weaponization of lies, yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. A statement from the dancers claimed they had a time of their lives on the special tour and felt so honored to share the stage with such an amazing talent. Yeah, can you go ahead and refute any of the claims that are in the lawsuit, though? That would be great. Thank you to Lizzo for shattering limitations and the glass ceiling, the cement floor, and everything else. Kicking in the door, well, rolling into it, or just simply leaning on it for the big girl and big boy dancers to do what we love. Eat? No, you're supposed to be dancing. You have created a platform, well reinforced, where we have been able to parallel our passions with a purpose. What, living to the age of 45? Our statement comes just weeks after the news of the bombshell lawsuit made headlines. In the lawsuit, just to refresh everybody's memory, 3 of Lizzo's former dancers claim they dealt with harassment, discrimination, and comments about their bodies at the hands of the singer and her dance captain, Shirlene Quigley. Oh, didn't hear about that chick before, but okay. 2 of the dancers were hired when they competed on her Prime Video competition series. Ugh. Lizzo's Watch Out for the Big Girls. Yeesh. You know, it's tough to not watch out for them because they just take up so much of your ocular space, which they claimed in a lawsuit may have impacted how they were treated on tour. Yeah. Others have also come forward to share their own experience with working with a Grammy-winning artist. Yes, a filmmaker, we heard from her before, Sophia Allison, claimed that she walked away from the singer who was incredibly arrogant, self-centered, and unkind. That I actually believe as well, but again, you gotta provide receipts. Maybe you're just terrible at your job. Who knows? Among other things, the singer was accused of making thinly veiled comments about one of the dancers' weight. You would think Lizzo would probably want to keep that dancer around just to make her look smaller by comparison, but oh well. The same dancer also claimed that she and other members were pressured to participate in sex parties with nude performers. Yeah, it's about the nicest way that you can go with that one, but again, I touched on that. Not that specifically. You couldn't pay me enough to touch on it. Well, you probably could, but it would be a lot. It would be a lot. Your boy doesn't work that hard to fuck around with fat chicks, but if you want more on that, I got another video on that one beforehand. We are full steam ahead, and what the fuck is that, man? Is that where you put the additional bacon grease? Normally people like to, save it in jars so they don't pour it down their drains and mess everything up, but she just uses it as lacquer to paste down her baby curls. Probably because baby curls sound too much like baby back ribs, and she'd probably try to eat them. Lizzo accusers respond to her current dancer's praise, so now we're getting a tete-a-tete in public discourse. All right. Shortly after Lizzo's current dancers praised their boss's work behavior, her accusers have spoken out. It's interesting because Lizzo, well, she's been incredibly quiet on this, but we would also be able to know if she's going to be making a statement, mostly because the earth isn't moving You don't feel any aftershocks. So, yeah, it's still going to be a second before she makes a public statement. Current employees would gush about her. Yes, no, it's understandable. Lizzo's current employees would gush about her. They want to keep their jobs and maintain access to her global celebrity. But the comments change nothing about the allegations in the lawsuit. Attorney Ron Zambrano, who is representing the plaintiffs, told Us Weekly in a statement, more potential plaintiffs sharing similar stories of abuse and harassment are coming forward on a regular basis. We've heard from at least 10 former Lizzo employees since we filed the lawsuit and are reviewing their claims. Some of them will most certainly be actionable. He continued, Lizzo's job is to try to do everything she can to limit the damage to her brand and save her career. Our job is to vigorously litigate this case on behalf of the plaintiffs based on the facts that we're confident the truth will prevail over the spin. Exactly. So far, okay, like if this was to happen to a conservative, oh yeah, no, there would be no tours. Everybody would be abandoning ship. It would be over for them. But Lizzo votes, dances, moves, rolls, orbits correctly. So she'll ultimately end up being fine. You can see it time and time again whenever it comes to an athlete. Okay, depending on the charge, they can either play if it's a simple battery, or if it involves a woman, they're immediately taken out of the game. Or just, hey, for a simple comparison between movie stars, I don't like the fact that Lizzo's on the screen directly looking at me. She might be hungry just in that picture, and it's still just a little bit unsettling. But the way that Jason Aldean got treated, you know, just for the simple fact of having a music video, he was taken off a CMT because apparently the two black people that like country music, according to the liberal white woman who were probably pissed off about some of the images that were in the video, had that removed from CMT. Interesting. And then the only way that it could come back in any form or fashion was because some of the footage ended up getting copyright claimed by a Fox affiliate, which just, hey, daily reminder, Fox is not your friend. But yeah, right, shock surprise. It's not a level playing field when it comes to the law or to dealing with controversy. But something that apparently Lizzo has lost, quote unquote lost, never really had it in the first place, but it's also just kind of damning given the fact that it was up for debate. But she was up for the Super Bowl halftime show, which is kind of odd. The first time, she definitely would have been history making as the first performer to ever outweigh the starting center for whatever team would have been in the Super Bowl. It would have been historic, but why the fuck would the NFL want Lizzo, okay? It's already, normally the halftime show, at least for the past decade or so, has been pointed towards getting the women entertained. Like, if they wanted the guys to stick around for the halftime show, they'd book fucking Metallica or something like that. Something that was close-ish was when they were in, what was that, a couple of years ago? They were at the new stadium in Los Angeles, and they had Dr. Dre and everybody else come out. Like, that was about the closest they got to try to court the male audience, but they still had to have some old broad turn out, and it's like, that's great. There's the 50 Cent, there's, I think Eminem turned out for that, but at least Snoop was up there and Dre was up there. So yeah, you know, he at least had the shout outs to everybody that Dre helped along, and he brought everybody out there. But you still had to have that one little fucking bitch. It's not even a recognizable face or anything like that, but no, you have your, Jennifer Lopez's, your fucking Maroon 5s, you know. Halftime show is for chicks. At least that's the way that they're trying to present it. Even though everybody continues to point to, you know, like Michael Jackson or Prince, Paul McCartney is the best halftime shows ever. But that's all right. No. They just wanted the praise. They just wanted all of the accolades for it. And that's why Lizzo was up for consideration for the halftime show. But the moment that story broke, apparently, according to sources say she was taken off that consideration list, which, okay, fine. I don't know a Lizzo song. Okay, for as much coverage as this bitch gets, she's supposed to be a musically talented genius. It just happens to be normally, if you're talking about musical geniuses, she has the mass of about 3 of them stapled together. So I don't know what she sings. I know that she's a flutist, however the fuck you want to say that. She had James Madison's crystal flute, a fucking historic artifact, and that land whale got to parade her chunky ass across the stage with a priceless heirloom. It came out of the Smithsonian in order for her to suck on. Like, what the fuck are we actually doing here? She is so supported by the institutions. It's disgusting. But it also definitely tells you that she was never going to face the appropriate amount of backlash that anybody else would, facing similar allegations. So Lizzo should not only be the first of vulgar rappers dropped from the Super Bowl halftime consideration. Yeah, this is from Phil Mushnick, who just has absolutely no fun at all times, but Hey, like a broken clock. When you're right, man. Devastating news. Lizzo, the dangerously obese female rapper who checks most of the genre's requisite boxes. Oh, God. Ugh, Lizzo and box in the same sentence. I want to die. The vulgar N-word lyrics, the sexually explicit dumpster scoop to rhyming. That's one way to put it. Hey, Phil, tell us how you really feel. Ha ha! Ugh. Has reportedly been removed from consideration for the halftime performer at Super Bowl. What are we at? 58? Wow. This coming February. She has been deemed unacceptable by the NFL following claims that she sexually harassed and abused members of her onstage female backup crew. She apparently no longer passes a socially acceptable smell test, unlike past Super Bowl halftime crotch grabbers and profane N-word spears. Yo, you couldn't even get into the titty grabbing situation with Justin Timberlake and, I was going to say Janet Reno. That shit, oh my God. Speaking about detestable women, that would be even more hilarious. Lizzo, if you get the nod to come back to the Super Bowl, okay, if you want to have the most grotesque one, just recreate the Justin Timberlake Janet Jackson situation. Should just drive off any more interest in the Super Bowl halftime show. Fucking kill it. It's dead, it's done, it's dusted. You're never going to get a good performance again. Last Super Bowl, Goodell invited Rihanna to headline halftime, which, oh my God, again, she makes me sick to my stomach. Previously, Snoop Dogg met with Goodell's sense of what American audiences deserve at halftime of the NFL championship game. Yeah, that's the only one that I would, oh God, that was the only one that I would go ahead and praise as actually relating to what your core audience likes about it. But again, Phil Mushnick, if you're an old school O&A fan, you've probably heard about his op-eds before. And yeah, he's just a fucking old curmudgeon. So he at least points out something correct, that Lizzo's off from consideration for the Super Bowl. Thank fucking God. And that's probably also what the roadies and the stage crew were thinking at the same time. It's like, Christ almighty, our fucking times are tight to begin with, and you're expecting us to get all that concrete and rebar onto the field in a tight time? Go to hell. But until we get into the courtroom, very little development when it comes to this situation. I'm sure that we're probably going to get a few more outlandish claims, but until they're backed up with anything, I'm about 50% on all this stuff. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.